All right, audio's linked. Let's get right into it. Welcome back to Wrenching. My name is Eddie. I believe I named this episode Maintenance. Maintenance. Why maintenance? Because I was cleaning earlier and I was like, this would make a good topic. I'm not gonna lie, that's how I came up with it. Maintenance. Maintenance is a lot of things. Keeping a routine, keeping yourself in order, keeping your living quarters in order. A lot can go into it. You can look at it many ways. What I want to talk about today is... Why am I so zoomed in? Hold on. There we go. Okay. For those of you watching, well, listening on the audio, will make sense. But anyways. I know both men and women that are not clean. Bad hygiene. Don't keep their stuff in order. Dirty car, messy car. I've seen messy cars. Trash all over the place. It's not appealing. Especially if you're single, looking for a partner. It's not appealing. I've been turned off by women that are nasty, and I think twice about men that are nasty. It's more common in men. Women are typically more clean, but guys do it too. My mom taught me to always clean. She reamed that into us growing up, me and my brothers. And I always thought it was weird. I never liked it. But as I got older, I realized that having things in order, having your desk cleaned. I go through my desk once a week, make sure that I have all the trash off of it, built up from the week. Everything is put back in its kind of place. Any books that I kind of grabbed off the shelf, put back. Just order. And then it goes with routine. Once a week, I come and do this. Every other day, I wake up early, go to the gym. When I'm at home, when I don't work, the days that I don't work, I sit in front of my computer. I do some work for about 5-6 hours. And then I get up and I go clean the house. It sucks. I'm sometimes stuck doing dishes for about an hour. But it has to be done. Yeah, I live with my girlfriend, but that doesn't mean have her do everything. I can contribute as well. Right now I'm at home. She's working. I can do the second half, make it easier on her. Men, take notes. It's annoying work. It is annoying work. Brushing your teeth. I had to get into that habit. Well, I guess I got into that habit at a younger age. 14-ish. I started making it more consistent. Between 10 and 14, I guess I was trying to pick it up, and I never did. But I kind of I'm kind of picky. I judge, I'll be honest. I judge. I didn't like trying to talk to somebody and smelling their breath. I didn't like trying to get into somebody's car and having to move trash around. Going to somebody's house and it not smelling good. I judge. And then I think internally, okay, do I do these things? Because if I do these things, I can't hate. Okay. If you don't want a partner, if you don't want if you don't want friends that are messy, you have to have standards for yourself, because your external will reflect your internal. I heard that recently, and so I started thinking, okay, something about messy space. If your bedroom is messy, then more than likely your head is messy. So what can you take away from that is that your room isn't in order, your head's not in order. You won't be as productive as you want to be because there's constant chaos in your head and as well as in your living space. So That's why they say start with making your bed every day. I don't. I think it's a waste of time. I'm just going to go mess it up later. But no clothes on the floor, no trash on the floor, no trash in my room. It gets cleaned. The room gets cleaned once a week. The house gets cleaned almost daily. I sweep the floors when I'm home. And even when I'm not home, even after a long day of work, I can work a 10, 11 hour day, and then I'll come home and I'll still sweep the floors because it's just a mess. I don't like walking, taking my shoes off, walking across the floor and feeling stuff getting stuck to my feet. It's annoying to me. That's just me. So I just clean the floor, and I don't like seeing things. It's like, I don't know. It's like an OCD thing, I guess. My cars are a little bit all over the place. I'll clean those once a month, but at least there's not like trash, wrappers, cans, bottles, just all over the place. I don't necessarily like vacuum and wash it daily, but if I have an energy drink for the day, I don't leave the trash in there. I throw the can out after I'm done. And my girlfriend has told me that she appreciates the clean and the order. She didn't have much of an order, but she would clean. And so I taught her to have order. And I wasn't necessarily that clean when we met, but I had good order. I would clean here and there, and then I'd put things in order here and there. And I realized that when I did put things in order, it was a lot easier for me to navigate. And then I started thinking internally, like okay, again, your externals are a representation of your internals. So started thinking inside my head, okay, so if I'm looking at my desk and it's a mess and I'm also stressed, okay, I'm looking at my desk, okay, this is gotta get cleaned up, okay, now I had a mess on my desk, now let's work on the mess inside my head. Why am I stressed? What is bothering me? Is there something that I need to take care of? Is there something that happened that is bothering me? Or is it multiple things at once? And have I not decided to knock one thing out at a time? And am I overwhelming myself? And that's why it's so clustered inside my head and nothing makes sense. So I have to learn to take a step back, work on one thing at a time. Last year in 2024, when I set goals, I told myself I'll give myself 3 projects. My one main project that's going to take up 80% of my energy. When I'm not working on that, I have a 15% project, which I kind of look at, I dabble with here and there. And then I have a 5% project where it's an idea and I'd like to pick it up once I put my number 1 aside and my number 2 becomes my number 1. And then I'd find a replacement for number 3. That way, I can stay focused on one task 80% of the time. I can study one thing at a time. I can lock in on one thing at a time. And it could be in that one thing. Let's say you choose coding. Let's say you want to be a coder. Okay, well, coding, I don't know much about code. But let's say you choose the one thing. And then you have a hobby. Let's say you ride bikes. And then you like collecting turtles, just like turtle figures or whatever. So now you have your 3 things. So coding's your main thing. You know that's going to be your income for a while. You have your hobby, and then you have your turtle collection, which is just an idea, not something that you're too heavy in. So within coding, there's going to be a lot of things you got to learn. That's why it takes 80% of your energy. There's going to be a lot of things that go with it. A lot of different things that you got to study and analyze. And so it's not just that single task. There's multiple tasks within coding. And so if you're trying to think about your coding plus a cycling event that you want to go to this weekend, plus your turtle collections that you still want to maintain, it's 3 things at once. and nothing's getting done because you're thinking about everything that goes in coding, everything that goes on, that has to go on to make your cycling thing happen this weekend, plus everything that has to go on with your turtle collection. So when you learn to have order, like I said, 80, 15, 5, you learn to say, I'm working on this, everything else, nothing else matters. Everything else is put aside and nothing else matters. My 15%, okay, well, coding, I'm not really doing that, or I want to put that aside. It's Saturday and I don't want to do anything work related Saturday, Sunday. So cycling it is Saturday. And then Sunday comes along, you're just chilling. Oh, let me see. Actually, this just popped up. This looks like it could be nice for the collection or whatever. Or, just, again, an idea. It's like you're not putting too much energy into it, but you have your order. And then Monday comes and you pick up your work again. Okay, here we go. Monday through Friday, we're locking in, going hard. Nothing matters. Here we go. And of course, you can make time for everything else during the week, but it's an idea, right? I just want you guys to have the perspective of what I'm trying to get at. When you don't have things in order, it is stressful. It's overwhelming. You see the huge picture and the chaos that goes on instead of picking one thing at a time and fixing it. Another goal that I set last year was decluttering. And I chose decluttering because I noticed that I had so many things going. I had project cards that I had put aside for a long time. I had my main project, my second project, and then my third idea. And on top of that, I had work. I had a personal life to try to keep up with, relationship to try to keep up with, family to try to keep up with. So again, you zoom out, you look at the big picture, and you're like, whoa, that's way too much. Okay, declutter. Learn to declutter. What does that look like? I sat down, I thought about everything that I have going on, and I decided I had to get rid of some things. Project cards, gone. I can't do that right now. I don't have the time, I don't have the money. I'm not doing that right now. Traveling, can't do that right now, can't afford it, so why even worry about it? Guess what? I just knocked off 2 things off my list. Now I can focus more on family, personal things, work, and my study related things. Instead of having to think about, well, I'm doing all this so that I can also do that, but that can only happen if this other thing gets out of the way. Well, then how about you just put all those things aside? When the time comes for it again, then it comes for it again. But putting too much on yourself at once is hard. It nothing gets done. I've noticed that when I think about too much, nothing gets done. I procrastinated instead, and I screw around doing things that have nothing to do with what I'm trying to get at anyways. And again, that reflects externally. People will see that in you. This person is just kind of hectic. They won't consciously think about it, but subconsciously they'll look at you and just like, this person's kind of hectic. They're all over the place. They talk about one thing and another and another. Like there's something attractive about a person that is dedicated to one thing. And it also shows like dedication to a person. Okay, this person's life is all over the place. They sleep around. They don't have an exact goal. Their work is always changing from one thing to another. It's one task or another. And they can't hold a job. They can't hold a relationship. Okay. Yeah, they're kind of good looking, but they're kind of crazy. Maybe maybe I should stay away from them. Maybe. Subconscious thoughts. It's just like your subconscious will kind of take over your conscience of driving you away. That's why sometimes you meet people and it's like, well, this person says that they want to hang out, but then it comes time to hang out and they don't. Well, probably it's because they can't make decisions. They have too many things going on. They don't know how to make an order. And so their life is hectic. They can't choose for themselves. And that's bad in itself. That's a conversation for another day, but I'll just kind of skim over it. That's bad in itself because then If you're put in a spot where you got to make a decision, it's going to hurt everybody else around you because you can't choose and execute on what needs to be taken care of. Let's look at it financially. If you're late on rent every month, you're going to get kicked out of your apartment. If you're late to work every day, you're going to get fired. Having a routine will remind you, will make it easier to remember, I guess, because I still get distracted even though my Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. It's wake up at 3, go to the gym before work, start my day, go to work, come home, study, dinner, go to sleep. Like everything else in between is just whatever. But that's I know that Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, I do that. And then this year I've incorporated updating my daily goals. What did I do today that got me closer to my goals? So I guess just an idea. Today is the 14th of February. So today will be woke up 3 a.m., went to the gym, prayed before I started my day, worked on podcast, studied, chores, and then probably groceries tonight because we do groceries Friday night. It just makes sense. Then we have Saturday, Sunday. So that'll be like my daily goals. That's what my today will look like. My Friday will look like. And then every other day in between, I didn't work today, so or else my work would go somewhere in there. My job, I guess. I still work. I just didn't go to my job. And so that makes it easier to remember. And then I go back tomorrow and I update my day again. I'll go back the next day, update my day again. And I've been doing this every day for the past month and a half now. And it kind of keeps me on track. So if I did everything that day, if I do everything today, I get a green day. I mark the day green. If something comes up and I don't get to anything, I will mark it yellow. Something out of my routine happened today. This is what happened. And I'll write it out, small explanation, and then mark it yellow. If I just did not do anything, if I decided to scroll Instagram all freaking day and not go to work and be lazy and unproductive, that's a red day. And I don't want red days. I want as many green days. Yellow days things come up. And that's why I like the idea of the green, yellow, red. Because then I can look at that day and say, okay, that day wasn't a complete loss. This came up. I needed to go help family. I needed to make an emergency trip. Something came up. And so I can't look at that day as a loss because something came up that was out of my control. The other day, my computer shut off and then the internet didn't work. It's like, okay, well, if I didn't do any computer work, it's because it just wasn't working. It's not because I chose not to go turn on the computer. I shower every night. So after I shower, I brush my teeth. And then, so those should be like no-brainers. Like as an adult, if you still don't even if you don't shower daily as an adult or brush your teeth, it's kind of gross. Again, if you're looking for a partner, that's kind of, that's a turnoff. Like nobody wants that. If you don't want a partner that isn't like that, don't be that person. The other day I was thinking about a partner doesn't complete you. You should already be working on that yourself. If you're looking for somebody to make you change, okay, well, I'll quit watching porn once I find somebody. That's an excuse. You shouldn't be doing that to start with. You should be able to put that aside, or you should be able to, well, not put it aside, quit it completely. It's unhealthy regardless. You should be able to put that aside, get rid of that completely and say, this is the person that I am. I'm going to change that person once somebody else comes along. I'm going to change not showering every day to showering every day once I get a partner. Well, that's kind of gross. So it's going to be a lot harder for you to find somebody. And then it's like, so if you're going to change that anyways, why not do it now? It's not like saying I'm not going to be broke tomorrow anymore. Like that one's a little bit harder. You got to work a little bit harder for that one. But I mean, keeping up with yourself, those things are easy. Those are things that you can manage every day. And you shouldn't allow yourself to not keep up with those things. You should you shouldn't have to change much once you get into a relationship. Once you get into a relationship, the only things that should change really are your people around you. You got to put priorities. You got to set different priorities. If you used to hang out with your friends a lot, well, that's going to change unless your partner is just okay with you spending less time with them, and you spending more time with your friends. If you agree on that, then that's fine. Or your routine. If you're used to, I don't know, staying in bed till 10 o'clock and your partner is an early morning person, then you might change that. Like some little things will change, but like big things should not. Saying I will be more clean once I meet somebody. I will be more productive when I meet somebody. I will be more caring when I meet somebody. Like those things have to change. You first change those things, and then you keep up with them. So then they just become a part of you, an attractive part of you. I will hold a job better once I'm in a relationship. I will hold a job better when I have a kid. You don't want to have a kid and then still not have your ducks in a row and not be able to figure out how to keep a job. And all that is maintenance that compounds and builds your character. It's like in GTA 5, I believe if you don't play your character for a while, you lose the skills. Like they start sucking in their skills. They're shooting, they're driving, they're flying, their stamina, and like stuff like that. If you choose not to play your character, you'll see that those things get bad as time passes. And then you come back and they suck. Well, as humans, the cool thing is that if you ever fall off of your habits and your maintenance, when you pick them back up, you'll go even harder. You will, because you already have that muscle memory. I've noticed every time when I go to the gym and then I take months off because I'm either working too long of days and I need the rest, and I prefer the rest and the money over the health, and I go back to the gym, I notice, okay, if I'm benching, if I'm benching, let's just throw a number out there, 140. If I can put up 140, do 3 sets of 10 reps at 140, and then I'm gone for 3 months, I'll probably drop down to about 115. And then the first time it took me 6 months to get up to that 140. Now, after the 2-3 months that I've been gone, I'll come back at 115, and then it'll only take me about a month before I'm back up to that 140. Something about doing something once makes it easier to do it again and again and again and again. And so, again, that builds your character. Long term, it just builds your character. It just becomes a part of you. There's a book that I listened to, Atomic Habits. It says, if you want a good habit, or if you want a good habit, you have to replace a bad one. First, you identify all your bad habits. If you're really good at procrastinating, that's an easy one. Find something to do, and then do it. And the way you start with, so I quit social media earlier this year, and instead I started reading. So now, instead of scrolling Instagram collectively 2 hours a day, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 12 minutes here, instead of scrolling for 2 hours a day, I'm reading. Or I'm keeping up with news. Or I reference back to something I'm studying just to kind of, it caught my mind, so I go look at it real quick. That's going to build my character long term to think of those things more instead of immediately thinking, go scroll social media. If you want to keep your house clean more, but your instant reaction is to leave and go hang out with friends, maybe you should stay home more and put up with feeling gross inside your own house, and then you'll decide to clean it. And some things, even if they don't trigger you, you still have to be self-aware. You have to look at yourself from an external perspective and be like, this is not okay for me. I would not accept this from somebody else, so why am I expecting it from myself? I think it was Luke Belmar. He either posted it or he said it. He's like, the courses are not the scam. The YouTube videos are not the scam. You're the scam. You are the scam to yourself because you tell yourself you're going to do something and you don't follow through with it. How do you expect to get better at anything if you never even start? Or you start and then the first challenge comes up and you give up? When it has to do with somebody else, with another person, that one's harder. Okay. For example, you sweep the counters, I sweep the floors. I can't sweep the floors until the counters are swept because then after the counters are swept, it's just going to make a mess again. Now you're counting on somebody else. And there's things like that. There's bigger scales of that, other ways to think of it, but that's the only one that came to my mind right now. Sometimes you do have to count on other people. Or for example, like this podcast. Me and my cousin said we were going to start it. And then when he couldn't do it, I just kind of stopped doing it, even though I wanted to do it. I was waiting on somebody else, and then I decided I'm not going to wait for nobody. This is something I want to do, regardless of if I get help or not. So I'm going to do it. And now I just kind of made it a habit. I didn't really have an idea for an episode today, I'm not going to lie. But in the middle of cleaning, I thought, well, this is weird. I'm a guy cleaning my apartment. Like, that's not very common, I don't think. But then I started thinking, well, this is not common in women either sometimes. If you are dating somebody or if you're looking to date somebody, I would judge them off of how clean they are. Because I believe people that have an order are a lot better in their head than people that don't have an order. I don't think you can be hectic in your life and not hectic in your head. Again, your internals represent your external. I heard this thing, I think it was on Patrick Bet-David's podcast. He said there are people that won't do business with a person that cheated on their partner because that shows that person is not, you can't rely on that person. They will cheat you on the deal that you made with them. They will cheat you on the work that you agreed that they would do. And so that person you can't trust. Yeah, that has nothing to do with you in your life, but if they do certain work and they cheat on their partner, more than likely a bigger business won't want to do, well, a business won't want to do business with that other person because, again, if they're showing that externally they are unfaithful, then internally, overall, they're going to be unfaithful. So if you're dating somebody, or if you're looking to date somebody, if you meet somebody, it's good to ask about if they've been faithful. And you have to look for a pattern. It can't just be, well, this guy cheated on his girlfriend in freaking middle school. One time. He's a bad person. No, he's not. Like, we all make mistakes. We all make bad decisions sometimes. But if you meet somebody that's always, okay. When I started dating, I said, I don't want somebody who goes out clubbing and all these things all the time. I want somebody that's cleaner, more of a homebody. But where was I putting myself? I was setting myself up, going to clubs, meeting spontaneous people, and then I was just like, well, how am I ever going to meet somebody that I would actually like to spend more time with or grow a relationship with if this is the environment that I'm putting myself in? And it doesn't make sense. And then I came to the realization, okay, well, if I want the type of person that's more, let's call it gentle, a more gentle person, a more home person, a less sporadic life person, not so much clubbing, not so much drinking, alcohol. I don't like drugs. I don't like getting drunk. So why am I going to put myself in an environment where people are constantly abusing substances? What kind of person am I going to meet? I'm not going to meet a person that I want. Okay, so I had to change my environment. You can't set expectations for other people that you don't even have for yourself. So if you want a clean person, if you don't care about messes, then I guess go ahead, look for somebody who's messy. But I don't know. I think that's weird. Like I said, I judge. You can't expect somebody to meet a bar that you don't even meet yourself, because you can control if you decide to meet the bar or not. You can decide if you choose to meet the metric, if you choose to make it somewhere, but you can't choose if somebody. You can't make that choice for somebody else. We have free will. God can't even do that. He gave us free will. He can ask us to do the right thing, but even still, we all fall short sometimes. And so if the creator of the universe can't even get you to meet the bar, why should you expect that you can get somebody else to meet the bar? I mean, if you expect somebody else to complete you as a person, then you're wrong. If you expect somebody's going to change you, then you're wrong. If you expect that you're going to change somebody, you can influence them, doesn't mean you're going to change them. I've met so many people that they either come to me for advice, or I have conversations with them that I think are meaningful, and I think are actually like useful, and things that I've actually been, or things that have actually been useful for me. And then they turn around and it's like we never even had the conversation. So I look at those people and I turn them away the next time, because I'm like, I'm not going to waste my time on this person. If we're just going to have these conversations, it's not going to get anywhere. And so now that person has to do their own maintenance on keeping up on, okay, well, I like this person around me as a friend, as a partner, whatever. So if they have this expectation for themselves, and there's nothing wrong with cutting off people that don't meet your expectation. If that person does not line up with what you want in your life, whether it's a friend or a relationship, and maybe even family to some extent, you don't have to spend that much time with them. You set the bar, you meet it, you maintain it, and you grow. But if you can't even meet that expectation yourself, don't expect somebody else to do it. Because you will more than likely always be let down by the other person. But if you let yourself down, that's your own fault. And you can change that. And with that, I'll end it there. If you guys like this episode, please subscribe to the channel. I got more things. I got like 80 other ideas for videos coming up. If you like the video, leave me a like, whatever platform you're listening on. Leave me a comment, whatever platform you're listening on. And I'll see you guys next time.